Cheers.
Cheers. I don't have a beer with me today.
Too many beers last
sensitive. Night. I was up for the... it's not like me usually to put so much energy into other teams playing each other.
It was too enthralling. I was sitting with my lady and she was like, she wanted to go to sleep, but she just couldn't. She was like, I'm not going to be able to go to sleep.
No. Yeah, I actually went to a pub to go watch the Wales-Argentina game. I went out of my way to go watch those guys play. I'm so happy for Argentina. But, last night was, outside of the Springbok games I've watched, the most intense game I've ever watched, I think, in my life.
Best game of the World Cup. I mean, before Easy. We said there was the Irish game against us, but I think that kind of topped it.
That was
just
so
for the
intense,
number
dude.
of times seesawing, the All Blacks going ahead, Ireland, catching up, and then
but the All Blacks were always ahead.
They were always ahead.
I don't think Ireland took the lead.
They never took the lead
in that game.
But
sure.
Everyone's like, I mean, for instance, Ian Forster is like, no, that he thinks that they were in charge. I felt like the Irish seemed composed. They made, I think, bad errors, but I thought they seemed like the stronger team. Like they could always get ahead. That's what I thought. I thought the All Blacks seemed frantic there in the beginning, trying to kick the ball away and that sort of thing. Just in the beginning.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I felt that in the beginning, the All Blacks really, really brought everything they had. And in the beginning of that game, I thought that they were really. It looked to me like they showed up. Like they were very keen, and their defense was excellent for a change. And they were hard.
Yeah.
They were going in big collisions. That was a very physical match, I thought.
Coming to the errors that I was talking about is like there in the first 20 minutes, Ireland was in the All Blacks 22, and like just simple turnovers. Like there was one point where the Irish were like within the 5 meter line from the All Blacks line, and like Gibson Park just picks up the ball and just like stood with it, and then Brodie Retallick just took the ball from him.
Yeah.
So that was a bad error, and I thought there in the beginning, Sexton kicking to the sideline. It worked against us, but we're not like I was saying just now, we're not a team. Like in that game, there weren't a lot of points scored. You know what I mean? Whereas the All Blacks are a team that can score often.
Yeah.
And
they can score out of nowhere.
And they punished them for that.
Just that try where Richie Mo'unga took the gap. That was my favourite try of the World Cup. Yes, that was sublime.
Typical like All Blacks.
Yeah. I think they saw that from an analytical perspective. They saw that defensively on the line out. There was a couple of forwards that were too far apart, and Mo'unga's quick, got in the gap, and then Will Jordan's got jet shoes.
Yeah, he's a freak.
Yeah, and you're not going to stop him. I just thought New Zealand had their best game in seasons last night.
I thought they played as well as they played against us in July. That first 20 minutes where they blew us away in July.
Right.
And the same here. They getting 13-0 ahead in a quarter-final. It's tough to come
why
back
I say that is because they've been struggling with Grant.
Yeah.
With their forward back and that, and they matched Ireland. I felt
it helps having Frizzell and
Frizzell makes a huge difference to that team, mate.
And I think it's better. Like I know Whitelock came on and he affected that very important steal, but I think he's done.
No, he's long gone.
I think it's better with Scott Barrett and Retallick. Even Retallick to me is not such a physical lock.
No, he's very tall and all that. But I think where Ireland lost to me yesterday, their lineouts were pretty bad.
Again, I wonder what's going on there.
That Ryan guy wasn't playing.
Yeah, he's injured.
Yeah, he's the key. That was definitely where Ireland was showing up, was in the lineouts. And then against us, Ireland was so good on the ball at affecting turnovers, and they weren't doing that last night. In fact, it was the All Blacks that were dominant on the breakdown, and they were doing the steals. And I just felt like Ireland were out of gas. All Blacks had it probably tactically. It looked like they had covered that well. They were getting guys over the ball and that.
Yeah.
But I felt like those are the two areas for me. Ireland were excellent against us on the ground. They weren't very good in the lineouts in the beginning, but then they became better. But last night, it's their lineouts cost them, because you need excellent set phase to dominate. And I thought in the end, the Ireland were actually going to score a try. But
I thought so.
37
phases.
That game ended a few phases before, because Ardie Sevier had his hands all over the ball, and the ref didn't call it.
Yeah.
No, he had it. That was when the game should have ended. Xavier, he's a freak.
Yeah.
Dude, that guy's the best 8th man in the world. No question.
But he was tired. Like, I mean, he gave it everything. You know what I mean? He really put his body into every single tackle, every carry.
He was the guy. He was like the All Blacks DuPont.
Yeah.
I thought last night. You know.
You know what was a big, like a massive moment in the game was, what's their hooker's name? The Irish hooker, the replacement.
I don't know.
You know,
he's
like that maul. So it was like the 70.
Sorry, guys.
It's like the 72nd minute or something. Line out, like on the New Zealand 5-meter line. The Irish set this amazing looking maul. It was going in with such speed.
Yeah.
He had the ball, the hooker had the ball, went over the try line. Geordie Barrett just managed to hold him up. That's a try all day. Like,
yeah. But that was just brilliant from
it was brilliant, but
Geordie Barrett. I mean, that's also he.
But you must.
He just got underneath it, okay?
Yeah. But like the Irish should have scored there. That was a definite try. They had a try all over it.
Well, that would have been the game,
and they messed it up.
The
So they had that opportunity. That was their chance.
Yeah. Yes, I feel bad for the Irish
fire.
fans, dude. Like, I feel so bad. I think that those two areas, like I said, and also I think they're going to be. Andy Farrell basically said, no, it's not the reason. But I think when they look back at this, they're going to see that they played their best team in virtually every game.
You see that stat? It was like the average minutes that they've played. I think just in this World Cup was like 240 minutes per player.
That's crazy, Oak.
It's a bit much.
So you could see it in the players. You could see it in a guy like what's the number 7?
Josh van der Fleer.
Josh van der Fleer. I could see it last night. That guy wasn't his normal self.
Yeah.
Kalen Doris randomly knocking a ball on in the middle of nowhere.
But that was like a weird moment. Like they kicked the ball. It was like a 22 or a goal line dropout.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like looking at each other, and then Doris is like, "Oh, it's me!" Like, and then he just drops the ball.
No, that's not the Ireland we've. But I think. Yeah, I also think that perhaps if they were to look back, they would say, we should have managed our squad better. In the smaller games, we should have rotated a lot more. We should have saved our best Oaks.
Yeah, like playing Romania with basically their best team. I don't know about that.
No, that's silly. And I think that's where, and obviously the coach is going to deny it because he's the man in charge of that. So for me, maybe tactically, but it could become the same thing for the Springboks tonight. We could lose, and then everyone's going to say, Rassie,
we were undercooked.
You were undercooked. We kept rotating. You had these weird ideas. You chopping and changing. So Rassie's put everything on the line, I think, in terms of risk. But Ireland should have won that game. I just think the All Blacks played their game. That was their game of the tournament. Yeah, it was their final. I don't think the All Blacks are going to be able to do that again in the final because they're not going to suffer in the semis.
I think
they're going to smash Argentina.
Yeah, I think that if the French beat us today, then I think France is going to win the World Cup. If we win, I think it's like tight because like what if we've already had our game against the All Blacks? We had it in the warm up, so the friendly.
We played brilliantly, but we didn't play. We haven't played our best rugby yet.
Yeah.
We should have actually beaten Ireland. We only know who knows why we have 7 forwards on the bench and we don't maul them. I mean, we're missing kicks.
Yeah.
Ireland could have counted us, I'm not sure. But the point is, Irish fans, yes, I feel bad for you guys. I don't think you guys were hard done by the ref. I know there was some talk about
the
scrum
Ireland
penalties.
Was in the game. They were in the game. They could have won it. They were just the small moments that went against them.
They had these huge overlaps in those final moments.
Yeah.
And I think if you had sorry to say this, I know you guys are sensitive about this guy, but I think if you had a different fly-off, I think you would have exploited that because Sexton wasn't...
I'm a fan of Crowd.
He was linking, but he wasn't creating. He was linking, but he was doing like these... He wasn't seeing that outside space. There were like 3-man overlaps, plenty in those last few phases.
Is Crowley is that his name? From Munster?
Yeah, no,
the
he's
fly
very
off.
good. He would have brought a bit of energy,
I think he would have been a good injection there. And he's a man for the big moments, Crowley. He basically won Munster the semi against Leinster, and he played excellently against the Stormers in the final. Of the URC. Sorry. So he could have closed off the game. I think.
No, there was space there, and he didn't spot it. A guy like Mani Lobok will see that. A guy like Mohanga is going to see that. So he's a great player, whatever. But I think that's where there was opportunity they didn't take, and then I thought in the first scrum, Ireland annihilated New Zealand fairly. I didn't think that was a penalty to New Zealand.
Penalty, no.
But all the other scrums, I feel those were fair penalties. Porter
Porter
goes down
game, eh?
and comes in and up. He did that twice or three times, and I'm a neutral.
He gave a few penalties, actually, not just scrum. There were 1 or 2 penalties that he...
Yeah, he was overzealous.
Yeah.
I think he needed to just chill out.
Yeah.
But that was marginal. Like, New Zealand got 2 yellow cards, and Ireland didn't exploit that.
You know who played well for me from New Zealand was Sam Cane.
Sam came into the best game he's had in seasons.
Yeah.
You know?
He was solid, and he like...
Geordie
really
Barrett was close to man of the match for me as well. If it wasn't for Sevilla, I would have given Geordie Barrett the man of the match.
I mean, holding that ball up in that maul was genius, was amazing. I don't know what it was. It just like great kicks, yeah.
Yeah.
And telling ones, like the one to go 28 up, 28, 24, whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That
and I think they had a yellow card during that time.
Like Sexton missing the kick in the 55th or 53rd minute. It was reminiscent of the 2013 loss against the All Blacks by Ireland as well, where it's like, you need this kick now. If you kick this over, like, it's going to change the momentum of the game. It's going to just like give you that extra chance, and he needed to kick that and he didn't get it.
Yeah, I mean,
and the Irish love Sexton in that, and you don't want to blame a player, but I think from like you said, an objective third party or neutral, like Sexton to us, I don't know.
He was linking. I actually was specifically watching him at the end. He was running from one phase to the next, just linking. He wasn't in the mood to create.
Yeah, he didn't.
Maybe he was tired
himself.
He ran himself once. There was a little half gap he got through, but he was just maybe Aki maybe needed to look at a bit more space. But that's not the kind of player he is.
Yeah, Aki's try was good.
Damn hardy
it's a local hardy. The Andy Farrell mentioned after the game. It was Sexton said that he felt that the Irish had to work really hard for the tries that they scored, whereas the All Blacks, they just gave them their tries. I think it's the opposite. I think that the Irish tries were, I don't want to say soft, but they, like Aki's try, that shouldn't be a try. Like
the maul over try, that was an easy maul, and Gibson Park, a little bit of genius to get over.
There was a gap.
It reminds me a little bit of Freddie Priya.
Like the Irish maul try, the penalty try. Why was Whitelock going up for that?
Silly. That's why that sucked him out of defending that, and then they just went for it. They scored. That was a penalty try.
Anyway, so I think the Irish tries were actually easy, and the reason the All Blacks won is because they were under severe pressure, but they were still able to score tries.
Yeah. And I have never watched the scrum off that's better and more accurate with passing than Aaron Smith.
Yes, but he started the game very nervy, dude. That first pass.
Sure, but his passes are so pinpoint. Like every single thing Moanga takes is here and running onto it and on the front foot, and it's just he had a great game as well. I thought
on Aaron Smith with a yellow. I thought that was a bit harsh.
The reason
there was a lot of cover coming across.
There was cover, but I think it was harsh for sure, because there was definitely a swinging arm from one of the Irish players into the neck of an All Black player. No one even looked at it.
Oh, really?
It could have been a yellow card any day of the week, but I think they gave it a yellow because it kind of looked a bit cynical to me. Like, you don't put your hand up. There's no ways you're gonna. What are you putting your hand up for?
I know, but it's a penalty. In my mind, that's a penalty. When there are so many defenders coming across, it's like.
I was in two minds. I thought, if it's a yellow, I can understand the thinking. Nowadays, you don't get away with deliberate knock-ons without a yellow, really.
Yeah.
Unless it's, I don't know, depends on the situation. I thought Wayne Barnes actually had a pretty good game.
Yeah, pretty good. But anyway, so commiserations to the Irish fans. Like, the Irish are like worthy of going through to like at least the semi. Especially in a World Cup where we now see Argentina has gone through to the semi. So commiserations to the Irish, and congrats to the All Blacks. Like, you proved everyone wrong. You guys are like champions. You have been champions before, and you showed your pedigree. And I hope we don't have to play you in the final. If we make it there.
I mean, it would be lekker, but I've got just two points to make. I watched a couple of fan reactions after that game in and around the stadiums, and some of those All Blacks fans need a taste of humility, dude. They were being super arrogant. Like, very, very disappointing how some of these All Blacks fans are like, I know they've been good for 18 months, but we've been good for 20 years. That's not how it works, guy. Cool. Give them a little bit of respect. And also in fairness to Ireland, if they had gone through and won this World Cup, one could almost pencil them in as the greatest rugby team in history, because what they would have done is they would have won the Six Nations.
Yeah, they would have
won
20
games in a row, and they would have won the World Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hardcore. So I'm not saying that it wouldn't have happened. I'm just saying that it was a stretch.
Anyway, amazing game. And
amazing game. I had heart palpitations at the end of that game.
I don't want to get excited for this evening. I'm just going to watch calmly and let rugby win.
At the end of the day, rugby's the real winner.
But
Springboks out. I'm not watching another game. They're not turning to Cricket World Cup.
I don't care about the game tonight, but if we win, I'm going to run down the street. Anyway, cheers.